Alrighty, welcome to episode 158 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. Customer deliveries of the much-awaited Cybertruck appear closer with the announcement by the Peterson Museum of the auctioning of a low-VIN Cybertruck at their annual gala on the 7th of October in California. Tesla has introduced minor cosmetic and performance upgrades to its domestic China-delivered Model Ys. These upgrades include interior ambient lighting, textile dash trim, black aero wheel covers, and a 0 to 100 km/h acceleration change to 5.9 seconds for the rear-wheel drive variant. There are currently no plans for these changes to be introduced into the Australian market. Tesla has released its Q3 production and delivery results. It produced 430,488 vehicles and delivered 435,059. It has reaffirmed its 1.8 million 2023 total vehicle production target. Tesla has announced its Q3 earnings call, which will be held on Thursday morning, the 19th of October at 5:30 Perth time. Western Australia's WA EV network has further progressed with Horizon Power's dual 150 kilowatt Kempower fast DC charger site in Exmouth now fully commissioned and open to all EVs to use. This brings the total number of stations currently active to 13 out of the final project plan of 49 sites. And after soaking up that awesome view, I can definitely state that that was this week's news. Indeed it was. Alrighty, as is customary, if there is anyone who is new and is comfortable in doing so, please unmute yourself and say hello.
Hello?
Hello,
Yeah.
Darren.
Yeah,
Welcome.
okay. It's the first time I'm using Zoom, so I don't know how it all works, but yeah, got a Model Y, Poverty Pearl, got it back in November last year, I think it was, thereabouts. So
Fantastic. Belated congratulations, you almost had it a year, which is pretty good.
yeah, sort of. I don't drive it much because I went halves in with in-laws to get it. So, but
That's okay. Any way you can get a Tesla is a good way as far as I'm concerned, but congratulations on the amount of time that you do get in it. No doubt it's it's an awesome car.
yeah. I do have a question. If we do that later on, or
Let's just park that for 2 seconds while I just see if anyone else wants to say hello, but then we'll go straight back to you, Darren. So if there is anyone else who is new and would like to say hello, please do so in the next couple of seconds.
Hello, I'm a new Tesla owner of probably 12 weeks, and
Welcome, Peter.
I too have the odd question to ask. So thank you.
No worries, Peter. I'll get to you straight after Darren, and I might try and go the trifecta, which is always risky. But is there anyone else that would like to say hello? Oh, I can see someone connecting. Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, no worries. If anyone else wants to say hello a bit later on, you're more than welcome to do so, or even just ask a question. And if you would prefer, you can also ask questions in the chat, and then someone other than me will notice it and then let me know about it. So let's throw firstly to Darren. So you had a question first.
yeah, basically got a bullseye in the front windscreen, and got it booked in to get it done tomorrow. Through Tesla. Just wondering as to, is it an all-day event? Because I believe it's harder than an ordinary car window.
Yeah, the short answer, I've had a windscreen changed on my Y, and I've got another one that's due to be changed, but I'm going to delay it a bit. The short answer is yes. They sort of ask you to drop it off. Well, sort of 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, whatever the appointment slot is, and it usually, in my experience, isn't ready until later in the afternoon. So usually 3:30, 4:30 ish.
Yeah, and
So
I don't think
it
that's
is.
a uniquely Tesla thing these days. Most modern glued-in windscreens, they have to keep it for a while for the glue to cure and all that sort of thing. I had the same thing with my previous car, but yeah,
Yep. What Kenny said is right. I had two new windscreens on my Model Y as well. And yeah, there was an opportunity to take one earlier, but it was purely on the understanding that I would do whatever the instructions were because the screen needed to cure, the glue, the adhesive needed to cure. Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. Have you got any other questions while we're throwing to you before we go to Peter?
No, that's about it.
No worries, Darren. Alrighty. Okay, Peter, shoot.
My questions are dealing with the assisted driving, and when you get a current series Tesla, you've got a beta version of assisted driving, and then you've got the offer of going to the first stage of upgrading your assisted driving, which is $5,000, and the next stage, which is $10,000. What's the difference between the $5,000 and the beta version that you're getting for free?
Okay, so if we cross over to the Tesla's website and we go to the Australian version, and so we just look at a Model 3, for example, and it actually does show in the description of the sorry, let's go to this. So enhanced autopilot. So what you do is you get what's called navigate on autopilot and automatic lane change. So what that basically is, the current autopilot that you've got for free, and by the way, if anyone has recently gotten a Tesla, do go into the autopilot settings menu because it generally isn't selected as being available to turn on unless you do that yourself. So do make sure you do that so you can actually use autopilot. But basically, enhanced autopilot gets everything you've already got for free, but it adds the ability to, if you navigate to a destination and you are on a freeway or some major highways, such as some sections of Tonkin Highway and a few others, it will actually automatically indicate and take the exit lane off the freeway or major highway. And also, if you approve this setting, and you've got to actively do this, as it's driving along, if the lane that you are in is going a bit slower than the lane to the right of you, it will actually automatically indicate and change lanes. And then as it goes further along, you've got a couple of settings. You can tell it to not hog the right lane or the fast lane, and it will return back to the slower lane. So that's a function it will do completely automatically. And as we speak, that is sort of the features that it basically does. It actually also does summon as well, and auto park, which will do perpendicular and parallel parking maneuvers. Albeit, if you ask the people in the room, it does some of them. It's a bit haphazard. It has hot and cold days.
Peter,
Is that the
main benefit,
$5,000 extra or the $10,000 extra?
So that was the $5,000. That was a $5,100 extra for enhanced autopilot. So basic autopilot you get for free. For $5,100 you get enhanced autopilot, which is navigate and autopilot, auto lane change, auto park, and summon. And there's a thing they call smart summon as well. I'm not sure why it says upcoming, because it actually does work, but it works in interesting ways sometimes. And then if you go the full hog and go full self-driving for $10,100, you also get automatic traffic light and stop sign and other major signs such as, I think it does give way signs and roundabouts. You also get that as part of the package. And you also get the promise, eventually when it's fully implemented and legally able to do so, Tesla's commitment is that that car, you could just have it drive you to the pub, drop you off, and you can tell it to drive home. It'll drive home all by itself eventually. And later on, you can then summon it to wherever you are, wherever that is, and it will drive all by itself, come and get you. You just lay in the back, well, sit in the back seat, I guess, with a seatbelt on, and it will drive you home eventually. So that's the 3 tiers. There's the free tier, which you get for nothing, the middle tier. Now, at the moment, because we don't have FSD or full self-driving beta, which the people in North America do, or the cars in North America do, our full self-driving package of $10,100 Australian is actually cheap, because in America it's $15,000 US. So we have a structural discount because some of the features just literally aren't available in Australia yet. Elon Musk has promised that, or he has stated that once those features do become available in each region, the price for full self-driving will go up commensurate with, you know, that extra value. But Elon Musk has also promised that you'll get at least a few days notice of that pending price increase before that's implemented. Now, there are some people with longer memories that have seen that in Canada, that's not quite what happened. The price went up suddenly, then people complained rightly, and then Tesla wound it back and gave an extra week or two for people to make their purchases earlier on. I guess you could say if you like the idea of navigating an autopilot or automatic lane changes, or even semi-automatic ones where it will suggest that it could move, and you can there's a setting where you just have to tap on the stalk to acknowledge that, then you could go the halfway mark. That could also be a hedge against the price going up on full self-driving, because what would happen is you've got half the package. If the price doubled, you'd only have to pay half of the increase, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So sorry
another
for the very long.
$5,000.
Yes, approximately. That's, you know, if you convert 15,000 US to Australian, that's about 20,000. You could call that the equivalent cost of autopilot in the US.
Right, and the 10,000 level, will that work on country roads, like dirt roads?
Well,
there was
in the
actually
US?
there's actually a video that got published only this week, showing a Model Y navigating on using FSD Beta. I think Harold's going to see if he can find it for you, just alongside a lake. So it was alongside a beach. Now, I wouldn't stand here and tell you that you're definitely going to get that capability. But what is unique about Tesla's self-driving features, which is distinctly different from other self-driving or driver assistance features, is that it doesn't rely on high-definition maps. It basically relies on its cameras and its software, its artificial intelligence, which has been taught how to drive by being fed lots of video from other drivers. So I think the video is coming up. I think Harold's about to spool it up.
yeah, sorry, I'm just, is it just was it Tesla Owners SV? Okay. I've got the shorts for it. I'll just grab the long form video of it.
While Harold grabs it, basically to answer your earlier question, Peter, the difference as to whether you should pay the 5,000 or the whole 10,000, roughly, the main benefit in going to the full 10,000 is that you'll get the future updates for free, basically. So you'd only do that if you thought that that Tesla was essentially going to solve autonomy. solve autonomous driving. Now, everyone's got a different opinion on that. Elon has thought that that would come a lot earlier than it has. But it's not like this has been done before. It's not like there's a roadmap and, they're breaking new ground here. I'm of the opinion they will happen, within the next 24 months, if not sooner. If you're of that opinion, then, and if you wanted to get in early, then you could pay the $10,000. And once we get FSD beta in Australia, like Harold said, the price of the full system will go to about $18,000 to $20,000. Then it may be worthwhile. But if you don't think it will happen for a number of years, then you wouldn't do it, because the extra features aren't really necessarily worth the extra $5,000.
Yeah, so
Thank you very much.
here's that video.
Oh.
I mean, it is a dirt-ish road. It's not a classic Australian dirt road. It's really got a bit of crushed blue metal on it. But here's the video.
Full self-driving.
It basically just follows around this lake.
Okay, we can see that there's no side lines or fog lines on the edge of the road, so that's a good inclusion in the image.
Well, it's sort of inferring. You can see the grey region. It's inferring that's the drivable region, which it would do on an Australian dirt road as well, because you'd have brass or spinifex or whatever either side of the road, of a graded dirt road.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
And the thing is, look, I bought full self-driving, I bought a Model X that was built in November 2016. I received it in March 2017. I saw the YouTube video that Elon Musk announced the Autopilot version 2 in October of 2016. And in that video, he stated that by the end of the next year, there'd be a demonstration drive between California and New York, with the car being completely driving by itself, assisted. And that promise has sort of continued to keep on being made. So it's easy to be a little bit fatigued with broken promises, or what do you want to call it, delayed promises. Elon Musk has famously said, he'd rather deliver something horrendously late than not at all. Make promises that are delivered late. But a lot has happened in the recent months to actually start believing that this thing is going to actually be a thing. And that's the way that the Autopilot team, or the full self-driving team, have basically revolutionized the way they're actually controlling the cars. They used to have about 300,000 lines of C coding to hard code what it should do, if this, do that, etc.
Yep.
And what they've changed, the methodology, they completely stood on their head, and it was a very small part of the Autopilot team that actually did this, was to just feed millions of video clips to the neural network training computers to basically effectively show the neural networks how cars are driven in all sorts of circumstances. And when Elon Musk a few weeks ago did a live stream of him trying out FSD beta, one of the builds he uses, he described that as a car was approaching a speed hump, that the car, there's no coding in the car that tells it what to do with a speed hump. The neural network has inferred by all the training data of a appropriate behavior it should do when it comes across a speed hump. So that sort of stuff it's more advanced than anyone else has ever done before or attempted to do. And it's a little bit like the way humans actually do fundamental learning. And it's an awesome thing that they're doing. So in light of that, the likelihood of full self-driving actually coming in our lifetime is, well, it's got to be pretty close to almost certain. If and when it gets approved in Australia is another case altogether. That could be a matter of months after it's released in the US, or it could be years. You just can't tell what governments or bodies will do.
Well, you can say, to quote Elon Musk on that question, he said that
Sorry, Pete, you've turned into a robot.
governments, they listen to statistics. Car has an accident in 1 in 500,000. Must be the connection here. All right.
Yes, you suddenly sped up. You said about 2 sentences in about a fraction of a second.
Oh, wow,
Let's try that again.
Okay, take 2.
I like Peyton's double speed. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not as
Okay, go,
Boris.
Pete.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
Elon Musk said that governments listen to statistics, and the statistics out of the US are that an average car has an accident in 1 in 500,000 miles. An average Tesla, where he's driving it, is 1 in 1 in 2.5 million miles. And an average Tesla where the car's doing the auto steer and the traffic aware cruise control, where it's on autopilot, is anywhere from 1 in 4 million to 1 in 5 million miles. So anywhere from that changes seasonally. So it's a little bit lower in winter and a little bit more reliable in summer, but it's between 8 to 10 times safer than a human. And my spin on that is, I would say it would be a fairly brave politician that would stand there and delay this legislation months and months, because at some point there will be a mother of a child who got needlessly killed in a car accident, who will be in front of Parliament House with a protest saying that every month that you've delayed this technology is more and more kids or more and more people that have died needlessly. So that's the way I see it. So I don't think the politicians will have much of a choice. And when you think about it, yes, the public may take a little while to get used to it, but it's no different to when we had elevators and you get into an elevator or a lift and there'd be a guy on a stool operating levers, and now you just press a button and you go to the floor. So, our kids will just get into a car and they'll expect to press a button and have it take them to where they want to go. And if there's someone behind the wheel, they'll think that's a bit strange. Just like if you got into an elevator these days and there was a guy pushing on levers for you. So,
Absolutely. And just getting back to a dirt road, as James Maitland has kindly posted up, there's no doubt that autopilot would see that as a road. That's so easy to demarcate. It's just not funny. So apart from the ruts, which will give you a rather uncomfortable ride, which that's a good segue to, I think it was Shane who mentioned about that there was talk of the earlier versions of the Model Y that the suspension was a bit harsh. And I think a lot of that's been a little bit overplayed. Some people have sort of jumped on the bandwagon and said, these cars are harsh or whatever. Tesla has, a few months ago, has actually revised the suspension. And I've got a Performance Y, so you'd expect that suspension to be harder. And to me, it's perfectly comfortable. And I think, Shane, you sort of mentioned that in some of the Victorian roads are pretty rough. It's actually the roads, not the suspension. And I can certainly attest to that. There's some pretty shocking Aussie roads out there. So, it's all good.
Yeah, the other thing that was rumoured to me that if you spend the money and get the extra onto your vehicle, they're now going to allow you to change it to another vehicle if you buy.
No. So, well, Elon Musk
used to be the story that was but now I've heard from.
So the story is, Elon Musk very specifically at the Q2 earnings call. It was probably the shareholders meeting. I think. Sorry, it was the annual shareholders meeting. in one instance only, and he was very precise about this, said there will be an FSD amnesty, and it's a one-time only, and it was to end by the end of Q3, which has just passed. However, there's been a couple of reports that Tesla are being a bit lenient on that hard cut-off of the 30th of September and saying, provided that their customer, makes every effort to accept a delivery, they'll allow it to dribble over a little bit into the next, few weeks, presuming that the delay.
If you haven't placed an order by now, you're not going to get it.
Oh, yeah. Yes, thanks, Ken. Yeah, absolutely. So it was very sort of narrow circumstance. You had to place an order from when he made the announcement till the end of the quarter, and you had to take delivery. And I think what Tesla's just done reasonably is, well, if Tesla was possibly responsible for a delay in that actual delivery, then they would extend the amnesty. But to be honest, I don't even think it applied for anywhere in Australia much, because there were no sort of deliveries being made from orders. Oh, very few. But
so I've got a slight story to add to that, and I'll see if
Andrew.
if Peter wants any more questions. But I literally just went through FSD transfer on Friday.
Cool.
With a new car. So it guaranteed it was only by the end of September in Australia. There was zero talk of it being extended, because I was pushing it to the wire to get it by Friday. And at one point Friday morning, one of the delivery guys said, "Oh, we might have to push it to Monday." And I'm like, no, it's happening today. So yeah,
Okay.
and it happened. So
very good. But so Peter, getting back to the original thing, look, Elon Musk and Tesla has always, and I personally feel, unreasonably prevented people from flipping the FSD over, even to the point where you buy the car on day one, you buy FSD, and by the way, anyone watching, please do not order full self-driving or enhanced autopilot at the time of placing your order. Always do it after you've received your car. Otherwise, you'll be paying stamp duty and possibly introducing other taxes, depending on which version it is, unnecessarily by buying it at the time of order. Always buy it after you receive the car. You can literally do it minutes after you've received it. But in any case,
Does this also apply?
Tesla had a case. Sorry, Tesla had a case where if you bought the car today, you then put FSD on it, you drove it out of the showroom, and you got T-boned by a Mack truck, and the car was written off. Tesla would not permit that $10,000 of software to be transferred to the car that your insurance company replaces, which is manifestly unfair, unreasonable, but it's just what Tesla has done to this point. Elon Musk has stated this is a blue moon event. It's never going to happen again. Whether he relents again in a year's time, we don't know. But please don't presume that you'll be able to get that opportunity again. If you decide to get full self-driving or anything for your car, just get it on the presumption that it will stay with your car. If for whatever reason you flip your car, as in sell it, buy another one to replace it, don't rely on the fact that you may be able to transfer it. Just treat it as a one-off black swan event that may not come back.
Thank you.
No worries. Now, since we've got some dirt road happening, I thought I might introduce... Oh, go on.
I was going to say, that's probably a good segue, because what you just described then is exactly what I just went through in the last week. Of wrecking a car and having to transfer it. Yeah.
Oh,
So the Tesla community has one less car in its ranks now.
Oh,
Glad
no.
you're okay, though. Are you all right?
But yeah, we're fine. The damage to the car is obviously extensive. I'm just waiting for the final word from RAC to actually sign off on it. But the assessor said it was a total loss. I think it's more
Andrew,
of an economic loss than anything. But
the most important question I've got to ask you,
yeah,
apart from you being okay, is can I have your battery pack?
You're about the 50th person to ask me that.
I was going to say John Edwards was probably already out there with the ratchet, the impact wrench and everything.
Yeah, pulling it out. Yeah.
Pulling it out. Zit, zit.
Oh,
So,
dear.
yeah.
Oh,
Happened last Sunday. So not
Oh,
one just
man.
gone, but 10 days ago. Won't go into the details because it's effectively my fault. But the hit from the front basically centered in the car. The car did exactly what it's meant to do. If anything, this is an example of why these cars are, the safest in the world, because both myself and my wife are perfectly fine. Few small bruises here and there with with seatbelt pretensioner and that kind of stuff. Interestingly, the front passenger airbag broke the windscreen.
yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, what hit the windscreen?" Well, hit the airbag. So,
You
Andrew,
know
was
those.
it the airbag or just a bit of trim?
it's probably
Yeah,
probably
mate.
the dash that flips up as the airbag
Yep.
deploys. Yeah,
And the airbag, the passenger airbag, is rather large because
Yeah.
it has to be designed to accommodate an idiot who isn't wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to describe anyone that doesn't wear a seatbelt. But
Yeah.
they have to design them so they're capable of saving someone's life
Yeah.
who is unrestrained. And that's why they're so big.
yeah. And I don't know if anyone on here has been in an accident with airbags, but holy shit, that's not fun. It's loud, it's very quick, and there's an awful lot of dust that comes out from them. So, like a lot of the onlookers that came running, they were like, "Oh, quick, call the fire brigade! It's on fire." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's just the dust from the airbags." So,
Another Tesla on fire.
yeah, yeah, I had to literally tell them, like, they're on the phone getting the ambulance to come just to check us out, and I'm like, "No, don't get the fire brigade either. It's perfectly fine." The other car, leaked coolant everywhere. My car, nothing. Not one thing dropped on the ground other than pieces. So, yeah,
Ugh.
Hey, Andrew, you're
Yeah.
being a bit. You said it was mainly your fault, but from the way you described it, it sounded like it was only partially your fault. So maybe
Well-
you were just being a bit too generous there with that comment, without going into details.
Oh,
I know
let's
you don't
let's
go-
yeah. I mean, let's
It's not
just
safe.
park that. Like, we don't have to go into the details of
Offline.
it. It's
yeah, no,
clearly an
I-
accident.
yeah, I mean, accidents happen, and at the end of the day, that's it's the first time in my 25 years of driving that I've ever been in that situation. So, it's not like it's a common occurrence for me.
But what a great thing for you to be able to, apart from coming out pretty much unscathed, be literally able to procure a replacement car in less
Yeah.
than 2 weeks
Well,
and be
it
able
was-
to actually change FSD. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that happened Sunday. Monday was a public holiday. I got a hire car, a crappy ice thing from Budget Car Rentals. And that was more of a motivator than anything else to get a new one. And I went straight from the hire car place to Osborne Park. I'd already looked on the inventory, and there was a long range grey one with 18-inch wheels and white seats. And I'm like, yep, that'll do. And went in, spoke to Jamie. If anyone wants a good service, Jamie at the service centre is extremely good. And he looked up, make sure it was still in inventory, because obviously the inventory on the website could be, allocated to someone already. And I put the deposit down at about 1 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, and picked it up at 4:30 Friday afternoon. So, like 99 hours or something like that. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, and it was all down to the FSD transfer. If that wasn't a thing, I probably would have reconsidered and maybe looked at getting a Highland. But then again, that's a 6+ month wait, more than likely. So a car in the middle, the interim time there was a factor as well. So yeah.
And the fact that you've got FSD on it now, so that's
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah. And that, I mean, that was a $10,000 saving for in real world value. That's what it was. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's a great news story, albeit coming about from a bad origin, but great story. Yeah, thanks for that, Andrew. That's awesome. Well, in a in a weird way, but
yeah.
Okay, so I was alluding to dirt roads. Now this is somewhere. It's actually on a bitumen highway, but there's a lot of dirt around it. And this is the Overland Roadhouse, which is just a turn off to go to Denham, to Shark Bay, etc. And these solar panels, actually, I'll just go to the next image. That's about 150 kilowatts of solar. That this, by the way, is where Horizon Power are going to put a 50 kilowatts dual CCS outlet tritium RTM with the sunshade that Horizon, which is their sort of flagship protection. And this, by the way, is how they actually install the solar panels. This is not from that site, but this is just from the website of the company that's doing this. So they actually have long rods that they effectively hammer into the ground, and they get the up and down low profile solar panels. This is a sea container. This is again just off the example from the website, which has got a whole lot of inverters of different brands and battery packs of different sizes. And basically that's actually on site at Overlander.
Good to see they've learned the lessons and put the inverters on the air conditioned inside rather than putting them outside.
Yes. And in fact, you can actually see those. That's actually insulation panels. So they actually insulate the inside of the sea container and then air condition it. So yeah, that's the overview. That's the containerized batteries and inverters. That's another side shot of it. And there's the panels. So that, to be clear, that's not actually a typical Horizon Power installation. That solar and battery storage and inverter solution is actually owned and operated by the Overland Roadhouse, and Horizon would just be sourcing power for the charger.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great that that's actually being it's already built, and hopefully in the next few weeks / months, Overlander will be running. And I'll just bring up Synergy's website, or the actual map, just to show how important that is.
Synergy or Horizon?
It doesn't matter. It's it's just to get the WEV network map, because there's almost a contiguous line of chargers basically between Exmouth, sort of Exmouth and Perth. So look at the map. This map's a bit out of date because it always is, but you basically got Broome currently, Karratha, Exmouth, Carnarvon, Northampton, Geraldton, all the way down the coast through to Kings Park, basically Manjimup, Walpole, Albany. And in fact, in most Teslas, you can actually make it from Exmouth to Carnarvon. You do need, depending on which way you drive. When I returned home, it was into a stonking headwind, so I had to get a fair bit of charge at Billabong. But Overlander, you can see, is actually just at the turn off to Shark Bay. So once they do that, hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll be able to drive fairly easily between Exmouth and Perth, which is a great achievement. So there are 13 stations out of the 49, and there is a lot of progress. I know there's a lot of progress along the Goldfields Highway between Perth and Kalgoorlie. So I think we can expect some fairly good things to happen fairly soon at Merredin, Southern Cross and Coolgardie, which again is just another very important leg into the regions. Alrighty, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I got a question. What's going on with Pete Paskrowski? Is he in jail or something? He's wearing his prison greens. He's laying back in bed. What's going on there?
He hasn't got his regular background.
Yeah, that's what's.
I think he's on holidays.
Where are you, Pete? You on holidays?
Just in Mandurah, just for a few days.
Oh, okay. Oh, no worries.
Got
a
nice
showdown with Pete. It's a regular thing with people laying in bed at the moment. But he's just trying to get with the crowd or something.
There's nowhere else I can sit without you hearing everyone else. So,
okay.
Yeah, no, just here. Got a nice place on the canals. It's actually perfect weather for it.
Oh, beautiful.
I was going to say the picture behind you, Pete, looks very familiar. Yeah, that one. That one.
I haven't even looked at it. I don't even know what it is. Oh,
yeah,
right.
It's one of the groins, one of the beaches.
Yeah, right. Oh, a Mandurah groin, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So my background gave it away.
There you go.
I think that's a joke we need to come back much later in the evening than now.
Yeah. I was trying not to say anything.
We'll try and keep it above the belt.
Take control.
To that end, this is a point. This is a point that needs to be made very strongly. This is the Chinese website of Tesla, and it shows what some people have been calling like a Juniper light. So you can see this is a car that comes with black Gemini aero wheels, which look okay if you're into that sort of thing. And also what you'll see is there is a modification to the dash arrangement, and you've got it's in blue, but it's this blue highlight light.
The gamer lighting.
Yes, but it doesn't follow through unlike Highland Model 3s, it doesn't follow through on the sides. So it's purely on the dash. And this material here used to be wood grain, but now it's like a cloth, soft touch material. There is no rear screen. You can already see that from this view. In fact, there might be, I don't know if there's an interior view further down. No, they don't do interior views. But yeah, so it's very important to note, and it's been confirmed by Tesla, and if you go to the showroom, all of the salespeople will tell you the same thing. There are currently 0 plans to introduce this into Australia. So that's the official line from Tesla, and that's what we've been told, and that's what anyone in the showroom will tell you, is there are currently 0 plans for that to be introduced as a variant into Australia any time for the time being. So, if you want to buy a Model Y, as I forget the gentleman's name last week, but he bought one last week. Josh, because we posed the question to Josh at the start of the program, how much what's it going to take to get you into a Tesla tonight? And to his credit, a few hours later, after much bullying by us, he placed an order very willingly. So do place an order for Model Y with the confidence that you're not going to feel burnt, that you're missing out on something that just for a lack of timing. So there are 0 plans to introduce that into Australia at the moment.
You think eventually it would come?
Hi, Alison.
Hi, how are you doing? I haven't been on for ages. I'm sorry. I've got multiple back fractures. So yeah, it's been horrendous. So my car's lying all in bought a 3 cover, a complete cover for it. And it's been sitting in the garage for about 3 months. I've just come back from a neurosurgeon's appointment on Monday, and I won't be driving that 3. So my problem now is, you've just answered one of my questions. I still want a Tesla. I love my Tesla, as you know. So I need to have a Tesla. I can't drive a normal rear wheel. Why? Because I drove one and I didn't enjoy it until it got up to 40 clicks. an hour and then I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy the takeoff or lack of thereof at the lights. So I'm not going to go into the basic why for me. It's great for other people. So it means I'm probably going to go into the long range why.
Yep.
And either upgrade it or not, doesn't matter. The long range is going to be torquey enough. Now a question, where would you guys, I mean, I've done like 3,700 kilometers and it's a beautiful car. It's fully wrapped. It's got everything on it apart from the kitchen sink. Where would you guys say is the best place to put that on the market? I take it it's not Tesla.
I've sold no. So I've sold I've sold 4 Teslas actually. 3 of those 4 I've sold on car sales.
Right.
So just carsales.com.au. It's not cheap. I think it's $200 or something to put a listing up.
That's cheap. That's pretty cheap, to be honest.
Look, and in the end, what happened was for my 2 Model Ys, I had a couple of standard range Model Ys. It was actually a dealer that bought them for a price I thought was quite reasonable. And I've said this before in this program, you know, selling cars is a terrible process. You'll list it, someone will ring you and give you an insulting price and you'll tell them to get lost and stop insulting you. And then a few months later, you'll take a price that's probably $5,000 below that offer. I think that was a good deal.
I realise none of that, honestly. That what worries me is more my back, my health, and the fact.
Yeah, of course. So to answer your question,
on this I lose.
Yeah. So in my humble experience, I've just listed it on car sales, and that's worked for me. So unless anyone else.
One thing you could try is you could post it on the Tokwa Facebook page. I mean, we've got over 4,500 or over 4,000 members there now. And maybe you could post it there for, maybe a week or 2 and just say, look, if I don't get any nibbles here, I'll be posting it on car sales in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that way you might get an offer from there that you're happy with.
Yeah.
And saves you putting it on car sales.
I mean, I know the Highlander is coming in, so some people may want to stick with that. I mean, my car looks schmick anyway, so, but I just don't know. And the other thing I was wondering was, I mean, Tesla themselves, that you've answered my question on that. I thought, should I go to Tesla? But I just thought it'd be easier.
You won't get the best price.
No, don't go through Tesla. Look, I'd listen. Me personally, if I was to sell a car again, and in fact I will one day, I'll just list it on car sales. And look, if it's a normal person that wants to buy it, that's all good. And if a dealer wants to pay an appropriate amount of money for it, that's good too. I don't philosophically hate dealers.
Care. Yeah, I don't care who buys it. Yeah.
Another option.
Yes, thank you.
Let's go, Richard.
I had my Model 3 and up for sale. I just wasn't getting what I wanted for it. And I ended up keeping it, but I sold my wife's Lexus piece of crap through AutoFlip. So AutoFlip takes your details, what do you want for it? And they put it out to all the car dealers throughout Australia. And basically, I paid 51 for it and got 48 for it 3 years later. So I lost, and that was it. The money just came into my account. They took the car. It was totally seamless. And, maybe 50 dealers had a look at it, and there were all sorts of different prices. I just picked the highest and it was gone.
Okay. I really don't know even what to ask for it. I'm going to have to price up what that is now. This one didn't get the 3,000 discount. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know I'll make a loss on my last car. I made 12,000 profit because it was when you couldn't get a hybrid Toyota for love nor money, and my one was just over a year old, and I actually made 12,000 on what I bought it for. So this time I'll lose, it doesn't matter. The main thing is I still want to be in a Tesla. Can you tell me one thing? How high is the Y in comparison to other 4-wheel drive, like mid-range 4-wheel drive, so that I can gauge if I can even sit in the Y and drive it? Do you know what I'm asking?
So Alison, the best way to answer that is not for us to give you like it's 20 centimeters taller or something.
No, not it's just have you been in a 4-wheel drive that you say it feels like,
Yeah, no, Alison, the best thing to do is just go to Osborne Park and sit in it
Well,
because
that's
they're right in the.
Or get 30. There's 30 people here. I'm sure when someone's willing to come, I'll come around tomorrow and let you sit in mine if you like.
Because I look like an idiot sitting in a car because I've got to go on a step, and it's just I look.
Doesn't matter.
idiotic.
No, Alison. It
Where do you live, Alison?
It doesn't. It doesn't
Netherlands.
matter.
Nedlands. What time shall I come over?
Oh, look at you, Richard. You're a wee star.
It's no big deal.
I
Hang
am
on.
in tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll are you on, Richard? You'll be on. What I'm going to do is I'll give you my number.
Alison, Richard will send you his telephone number in a private message.
Yeah, that because I
right
don't know how
now.
to do that, and then that way I can call Harold. You know where I am. I'm in Nedlands there. My worry is
Yes.
just I can sit in most people's higher cars, but obviously I can't drive at the moment. I don't need to drive. We did test drive a rear wheel Y for Patrick. Do you remember that, Harold?
Yes. Yep.
And I hated that base. That for me, I did not like. And
Yes.
then we went into Y Performance. Oh my God, that
Yeah,
was
I've got
just
one of them, Alison.
shit. That I loved. But then I said to Patrick, okay, so you're going to buy a long range and you're going to pay the 3,000 or whatever it is to upgrade it. So that's likely what I will do. But yeah, it's not that I worry about driving the Y. That's A-okay. I love my Tesla. It's more, can I sit in it and what height is it in comparison to, for example, a CRV or a Toyota?
Well,
Yeah,
don't even ask that question. We'll answer that one for you tomorrow.
Brilliant. That would be perfect. That was my questions answered, guys.
Sometime
I
in
mean,
the morning.
obviously it breaks my heart to get rid of Goldie here, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hey, Alison, just a quick on talking about prices and all that kind of stuff that you're looking at. Last week when I was going through the decision-making tree of do I get a new one, do I get a second-hand one, all that kind of stuff, I went and I just sat down for 10 minutes on car sales, filtered them for, the long range Perth, 2021 to 2022 kind of thing, and just listed all the prices and took the distance that they had, the price they were selling, the year, and what color and that kind of stuff, and whether it was private or dealer, and just do that and see what the market is telling you at the moment.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way if you're looking at what you want to sell it for, and then you've had it wrapped and you've got all the extras and that kind of stuff. So put whatever price you feel is a premium on the top of that
as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Sorry.
You've got the rest of the roll as well.
Yeah, I bought the whole roll just in case someone happened to. But that was actually stop anybody else going the same color, by the way.
Alison, what you should
have you got
do-
enough for the new car?
There might be, it would be close.
Well, what you should
No,
do is
not
take
that
your
one.
gold wrap off because there's only allowed to be one gold car in Perth, and you're going to have it in a Model Y. So
No, I won't. I won't wrap a Y because now I can't wash a car. So I used to hand wash my car because it was wrapped. And I used to do that, every second week. And I'm not going to be able to do that, especially not in a Y. So it won't be a gold car. I know it's not going to be the same, is it? But I'll think of something.
Someone driving will have a heart of gold. How's that sound?
I know. You know what I said? The thing that annoys me about the Y, I think I told you, Harold, is that noddy look from the back. You know that? It
Yeah,
looks like Noddy's car.
Yeah, I've got one, Alison. When you're driving it, you'll never notice.
That's
Yeah, I know, but I've got to park it and walk back to it. So what I thought was I would black out the pillars like I did in my Y. You can see my Y there in the picture, I think.
Right,
So my
yeah.
3. You can see it on my 3. I black out the pillars. I thought I'd black that out in a Y and put in all the tints. Then it's halfway there to not looking so much maybe like Noddy.
You're insulting every Y owner here. You know that. don't you?
Richard, still come tomorrow, darling. Love you. Oh my God, what am I saying, Patrick? Stop me. It's the opioids.
Alison,
I've
one
given my
other
number,
thing
give
you
me
could
a call.
try
Yeah.
is you could ring Tesla and find out what they'd pay you for the car. And that way you'd have the bottom price. So you
Okay.
know that if anyone offers you less than that, you'd obviously
That's
never take it.
ridiculous. Yeah.
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 So
Okay,
if
yeah,
you're-
that's wise.
If you
Yeah,
go
well,
into AutoFlip,
establish the bottom. Yeah.
if you go into AutoFlip, they'll just tell you what they're willing to pay for it, and you can. And it doesn't cost you anything. But if they do buy it, then you know they take their commission of $700 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Look,
as-
I like the idea of getting Tesla to give me the lowest, and then I'll look at what I think it should be, and then AutoFlip sounds like a good. I'll go on the Tokwa site first, because you never know on Facebook. There's a lot of people on there thinking about a Tesla, aren't there? On the Tokwa.
Yes, and there's a lot of people that know people who are looking at getting one, and and you know, a lot of Tesla owners are known for having more than one Tesla in the family as well. So you know, you never know.
Who could you possibly be talking about there, Pete?
And if I drive past my Goldie after I've sold her, I just have a wee tear and a wee bubble as I pass. That's why Patrick's going, "Oh, don't sell it, don't sell it." But I just know it's too low. So anyway.
So why are you selling it?
I've got multiple back fractures.
Oh, okay.
So 8 actually. So I am definite. It's almost 3 months now. And it's only got 3,700 on it, but I've got at least another 3 months. I don't mind having a Y sitting in the garage, but there's no point having this sitting in the garage because I'm not going to get in and out of that every day without worrying. Whereas with the Y, I should, oh, that's nice. What's that? With the Y, I should get, oh, what's that?
Carol's little runabout.
Hey, who put that up?
James did. James.
Oh, James, you've got me now. What was that?
That's a Y.
That's a Noddy car.
I've got aftermarket wheels on mine. You can have a look at mine. You might like it.
Oh, wow. I love that one with the, oh, that looks cool.
Is that the standard red?
Is that the standard red?
It doesn't matter. It's just been done up. It's
oh, I like those wheels. I could be Goldie Wheels instead of Goldie Car.
Goldie Car.
Ali's toy no more.
By the
Anyway,
way, Alison, while we're on the subject, there's a Model 3 that's being done up at the moment. I don't think it's been published on social media as yet, so I won't talk too much about it.
Yeah.
But it looks absolutely fantastic. It's been completely redone, resprayed from the inside out.
Wow.
I'm not going to talk too much about it. But yeah, they've spent a huge amount of time, and you know, there's probably over $100,000 that's gone into the car.
For a Model 3 that's going
to
away to be replaced by a Highland. Wow.
So just something that's more affordable. That kit, thanks to James, is only $839.
Wow.
Is that US or Australian?
Full body kit.
Yeah. So not the wheels,
The
obviously.
wheels won't be in that. The
No,
wheels
no,
will
not
be
the
on.
wheels. No, just the body kit.
They'll be 800 each, if more, not more,
Oh yeah.
for sure.
Is that a standard?
Is that a
the kit?
standard red, do you think? Just with a full body kit?
Oh,
definitely
no, it doesn't look
No.
like a standard.
That doesn't
Is
look
the-
like a red, no.
No. Is the Highland that's coming out going to be a different red? Because I saw one on YouTube and it didn't look like the red that they've got at the moment.
The
Yeah, I think it's
colours
the
in
ultra
Germany
red.
are different,
Ah.
Alison. So in Germany, you've got it's like a burgundy-ish red. So
This one looked brighter. It looked
The
like a
Highland,
brighter.
the Highland 3 is a new red,
Yeah, it's a new red,
It's-
isn't it? Yeah.
It's called Ultra Red.
ultra red.
Ultra, yeah, it was brighter. It looked fantastic. So you don't think they'll be coming out with a new? It's not worth me. I have to sell this one. Sell this one and then wait because there's a new Y coming, like the Highland. No.
if you think you can drive a car in the next couple of months, there's no point waiting because there's no indication that Tesla will bring out the true what's called Project Juniper refresh until deep into next year.
Oh, okay. No, I want to be driving way before then.
Oh well, in that case, look, you only live once, Alison. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
No,
to be
no, no.
and
As
to be
long
honest,
as I love the car, doesn't bother me.
yeah, just
It didn't bother me. There
yeah.
was a Highland coming. It never bothered me once because I really love my car. So
Exactly. So that just by the way, yeah, long range is a good idea because you can then get the acceleration boost. So you'll go from 5 seconds to 4.4 seconds for
That's not far off
$3,000.
you. That's 0.7 seconds off you.
Precisely, exactly. So I'm 3.7.
Oh, excuse
So
me.
4.4. Yeah, it's only 0.7 a second. So
That's right.
it still goes like a rocket. Yeah. So just do that. And
I don't
again,
need the
Richard's
range,
going to
you
come
know,
to your
Harold,
place.
I don't need the range. So I mean, it being you only go to 80% rather than 100%.
Correct.
But I
Yes.
mean, it doesn't matter. I don't need that range anyway. It's still going to give me the range of my 3 at 100%. So it doesn't make any difference to me. But it does mean if I'm going down south, I've got that extra that I can boost it on.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you can do, and what anyone should do, is if you're on a road trip, and it's perfectly safe to do this on these cars. So you can put the battery up to 100% while you're getting ready, and in an hour and a half, it'll charge up to that extra 20%, and then you can just go on the road and use it. You can go to a fast DC charger, and again, if you can't be bothered going to the next charger and you want to do a long break, like a long driving session, you can again easily put the charge level to 100%. Of course, you might as well take off once you get to 90% or whatever you want.
Yeah, of course.
And then drive again. So
if it was busy, I wouldn't do it because I believe from the 80 to 100 is much slower. So if it was busy at the charging stations, I wouldn't.
So for example, I don't have the actual screenshot in front of me, but a few times on the way up to Exmouth and the way back down, just using the WIEV network, not even Tesla superchargers, I routinely got 300 kilometres of added range in precisely 30 minutes.
Wow.
And in fact, when I was at Jurien Bay on the way back yesterday, because I did a 1 day, 1,200 kilometre day trip from Exmouth back to Perth, and in Jurien Bay, I got 250 kilometres added in 25 minutes.
Wow.
So really, that is super quick.
So
it's really no compromise. Now, there is no doubt that the best value for money car on earth is a standard range Model Y, because you leave home every morning at 100% all day, every day with 430 k's range, and it costs you drive away less than $70,000, probably closer to $68,000-ish dollars. But like you said, Alison,
it's slow on the takeoff.
Yeah. Well, someone who's used to the performance of a electric car, in electric car parlance, it's a little bit slow. If you're used to driving a petrol car,
anything,
almost anything, a standard range Model Y is a rocket.
It's slow, yeah, it's slow. And that was my thing I did not like about it. I mean, not a problem at 30 clicks, 40 clicks. That was underneath your pedal again. But I don't want to be like sitting there going, eh.
You don't want to look like.
Do you know what I mean? Because some young guys always next to a Tesla are going vroom vroom, and I just float it. But I mean, I can't float a Y normal because I'm just going to look like an idiot.
Well, you're not going to look like an idiot in your brand new long range Y, Alison.
Yeah.
And
so you don't. Nobody thinks it's a. Are they ever going to do the? Somebody said they're going to change the batteries so that the long range has got the 100%. My battery that I've got in my 3.
Yeah, not anytime soon, Alison. Not anytime soon. It might come. It should come, particularly for the long range. I don't know if they can make it work for a performance to get that gut wrenching power. But and even if it did come, it would not appear for at least a year, and life's too short.
No. I won't be doing that. I just wondered. Yeah. Okay. Look, you guys are, as usual, really helpful. And I'm sorry I haven't been on because I used to love coming on the Wednesday and stuff. But you'll know that it's health that stopped me, and not seeing you guys' lovely faces. And Richard, I will see you tomorrow at some point.
Yeah, give me a call.
Oh, you're brilliant. Thank you. So you just want to see all the extras I put on my 3 in case there's something
It won't be as many as I've got on mine.
I know. We know this. It was a competition.
Stop it, you two. Get a room. No, get a room, you two.
My wife's listening.
Okay, I will see you tomorrow, and thank you so much.
No problems.
I'll go back to resting. Bye, guys.
See ya.
See you, Alison.
Bye. Thank you.
Well,
Alrighty. Any
Bye.
other questions or comments? I think I'm just going to spool up.
I've got to take my Model 3 into Barrows tomorrow to get repaired.
Oh, that's a shame.
Bet it's not as wet as mine.
My wife did a little tickle on a little nib wall while she was doing Meals on Wheels, and Barrow gonna fix it for us.
So did she think that the car was a bit of parmesan and she'd grate a bit off, you know?
Yep. She did a great job.
Oh dear, it's champagne. Champagne asks us anything tonight.
It's fixing.
Speaking of accident, damage to cars, a bit of a PSA. If anyone does have an issue with the front end of their car and can't get in the front, I'm not sure if everyone realizes how you can get in, because after the crash on Sunday, for some reason the 12-volt shut down, and when we went back there to get everything out of it on Monday, it was just dead. So on the front of the bumper, there's where you pop the little cap open to put the tow hook in. There's two wires attached. Well, there's one wire. Well, yeah, they're both attached to that little cover. If you just pull that out and put a 12-volt battery over that, it pops the front. So we're sitting there with the tow truck driver trying to get into it because he's never done it before either. And that popped the trunk, and then the 12-volt still wasn't active because for whatever reason, so I couldn't get in the car either. It was just completely dead. So pull the trim just below the windscreen at the top where the water fill, the windscreen filler is. Pull that trim up, the battery's under there, jump the battery and it wakes up. So people that talk about not having to jump Teslas, they've still got a 12-volt system, and it still is required to.
You can't jump
access
start
the car.
another car with a Tesla, but you can.
No, but you can, jump start it.
A little trick that some people do, and I've done on mine, is you can get a little 12-volt battery that's about that big, right? And I just taped it to those wires, so if ever I need it, I can just there's a 12-volt battery. Boom. But the thing is, if your car is working, that does nothing. You can't pop a frunk on a normal car, so it's not a security problem.
So what would have happened, Andrew, is as soon as the airbags go off, the pyro fuse ruptures to isolate the battery pack. So, and then your standard battery would have gone flat. Yeah,
because it was still active the whole time. It wouldn't drive, like the car just refused to drive. But we could put it in tow mode and then push it off the road and put it on the tow truck and everything. So. Yeah, Jared.
And did you have any footage of the accident? Did it record anything?
No, for some reason it didn't record anything. I got the thumb drive out, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Not even Sentry, like normal, dash cam stuff.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I don't think I'd want to watch it though.
I would say keep telling the police that, Andrew.
Yeah. That happens when there's an incident at a casino. They lose the footage.
Now, footage that is available is this footage that James, Alison, if you're in the background, you might want to have a look now.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Why isn't it? Here we go.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's actually what you get, the black bits.
Oh, that looks good.
Nice.
That'd be great to drive that to the shops.
It's a lot, is it?
No, that looks good.
Depends what suburb.
Wouldn't want to go over any speed bumps though.
Leave that in Balga for an hour and see how it looks.
Yeah, it's the only thing. I don't like it to be low over the bumps. Yeah, that's a point.
Oh no, it's not. It's barely anything because
I've got a performance in there higher than a Model 3, so it's not a problem.
Alison, what you could do is just leave off. You could just leave off these middle bits and just
the
have
middle
the
bits, put the back.
Because you can do it any way you like. So
I think the pillar delete is actually one thing that would really change the Y.
Yes.
Just pillar delete to black and all the tints. I reckon
Pillars are
that's
black.
No, your pillars are the color of your of
This
your
bit
car.
here.
Not the
Yes.
vertical
Oh, that
pillars,
bit, right.
Not the
The
vertical
roof.
pillars. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
pillar delete would be that bit there. Yeah. I think that would change the look of the Y.
Just lowers
Oh.
it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it lowers it. You know what I mean?
and black on between the wheels.
And black between the wheels. See that bit that is angled between the wheels?
a
Maybe
bit
make
higher,
that black. Up a bit higher, Harold. Where that,
this.
yeah, that.
Wow.
Black in there.
Oh, geez. Bit
Ooh, that's daring. We could do that with a wrap. You could easily do that with a wrap. Part
Yeah,
wrap,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, I
Yep.
wouldn't paint. It would
Yes.
be wrapped so that it can't come off and somebody doesn't
You
like
can
it,
do
you
a
know?
gold.
Oh, I could do it gold. Patrick said I've got plenty gold wrap. He's just trying to make me sadder.
No, you can do it.
There you go. Alrighty. So we got any other questions or comments or anything in the news that I might have missed?
Yeah, Charles, who's in the future, when's he heading to Perth? I mean, I know it's about 4 o'clock in the morning where he is now.
It is, and especially since daylight saving.
Oh, no, that's right. Sorry, Chuck.
It's now a 10:30 p.m. start for me, not a 9:30 p.m. start. So I'm really pushing it to still be here, but that's okay.
When
See, Chuck.
My question.
The question was, when am I leaving? On
What
the
day do
18th
you
of
actually
October.
get to Perth? I thought we were doing a catch up with you.
The Wednesday that I get to Perth will be the 1st of November.
Okay, 1st of November. Okay. Nice.
I think that's right. Yeah.
All right, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a post I've got to get everyone to have a look at. Unless, Chuck, you've got it handy. Can you put that document, that Google document, in the chat so I can bring it up? Which was for the supercharger voting.
Yes.
Because that's
Yep.
still open. I actually cast my votes. I used my 5 votes tonight, actually, because that's still open.
Yeah. That campaign. I'll just paste it now. Hang on.
Yeah,
That
cool. And I'll,
campaign was. I think that link's the right one.
haven't got it quite yet.
Yep.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Here we go.
Yeah. It was going well for about a week, and then I think the Japanese owners noticed what was happening and they fought back.
Okay, so what Chuck is suggesting is to vote for Mansfield, Port Wakefield, Campbelltown, Braidwood, and Victor Harbour.
Yep.
So if anyone who can do that, there's nothing. By the way, there's nothing in WA. So there is literally, there's all to be gained. Especially Port Wakefield is useful because it means you don't have to go via Clare from Port Augusta, and Victor Harbour again is great because that's another part of South Australia that hasn't got supercharging. Mansfield, Braidwood, I think from memory is near Canberra, towards the coast.
Yeah.
And Mansfield, I forget now.
It's Victorian sort of ski area.
Yep. So please do that. Even though the supercharger voting is supposed to have ended at the end of the quarter, which was a few days ago, it's still current. The map hasn't changed yet to the new voting things.
What's really, really disappointing is if it had have finished on the 30th, there would have been Mansfield, Batemans Bay, Orange, and Port Wakefield all in the top 5. And right now, the Japanese have fought back and they've got more votes in, and it's now just Mansfield and Batemans Bay. It's a bit sad.
If we just go APAC, but the good news, Chuck, is that actually Mansfield is at the top, Batemans Bay.
Oh, it's
and
equal.
Orange.
Batemans Bay's equal 3rd, I think, the 4th spot there.
Yes, equal 3rd. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but look, the good news is though that the implication was only one region like APAC would get 3 winners or whatever it was, but that's not the way Tesla seems to be playing it. So they definitely do pick at least a few of the top voted Australian sites for Australia. So there is a budget. Yes, absolutely, because Southern Cross would not have been chosen because it was not in the top ranked sites for APAC. Because
Yeah, I think it was.
Japan, Japan and Korea, South Korea, their votes were vastly higher, and the locations that were awarded, TPA status, were not the top of the top. So Australia does definitely select top-rated Australian sites for new superchargers. Although, of course, as we can tell, some of the sites are kind of we already know they're going to go there anyway. But
Yeah, no, I think I looked at the previous ones, and I'll just paste them in here. Hang on. I think let's grab the ones from the end of the first quarter. I'll chuck them in the chat. Hang on.
That's what up.
That was the one coming through now is in the first quarter. And let me just find
just
the other ones again.
loading. Yep. Yeah, we'll just load that up. Here we go. So you're saying Apollo Bay. Yeah, that's not as I recall it, but that is from Tesla chart. That is the results, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and the following quarter wasn't as successful. I'll just in as well. But they occasionally do some sort of, I suppose you call them wild card ones at the end. But
Yep.
Australia hasn't received any of those yet. So yeah, that's the one that I just pasted there was the following quarter. That was 100% Korean sites.
Yeah.
Because there were only five Korean options on the list that quarter.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So really what we've got to do also is, as a block, we need to start voting for some of the extremities. So we need to get strategic. It's no secret that Tesla doesn't mind backfilling gaps, but they're more reticent to sort of venture, let's call it westwards from the eastern states and eastwards from WA. They're more reticent to sort of have a partial path. This is in their normal regular planning. But if we can get an award-winning site that's sort of like a shag on a rock in the middle of kind of nowhere, or at least a couple of intervals away, such as, for example, Southern Cross, we know then that Tesla will backfill at Meriden. So if we could get either Kalgoorlie or maybe even strategically Norseman in the voting, then if they do Norseman, we know they're going to do Kalgoorlie. Then we'll also know that since they've got Albany, there might be a chance of getting towards Esperance and backfilling that way. And for South Australia, they should absolutely pick
Ceduna.
Is it Ceduna? Is that an award one yet, or was it? No, it was Port Augusta.
Port Augusta.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got to pick. Actually, you've got to pick further than. Ceduna makes a lot of sense. Yeah, actually, pick Ceduna, because then there's backfilling at Kimber, etc. Now
on that Google Doc, I listed what will the ones be for next quarter, and I don't know if you still have it open there.
Yep. Let me just
basically, I just for this quarter, I just chose the highest ranked one in each state, and then Victor Harbor was the second highest because there were only 4 states that had them. When I say only 4 states, I ignored all the city ones in Melbourne and Sydney and Brisbane, I think.
Look, the city ones make no sense to vote for because we all know Tesla will install them anyway as queues get longer and longer, and it's a low-hanging fruit. That's with the exception of some people that are unfortunate enough to have, say, high-density residential, flats or whatever, where they just can't conveniently charge in the underground car park. The vast majority of people in a capital city will be charging from home all day, every day. So and if you're a visitor, yes, okay, you might be slightly inconvenienced if you've got a line of Teslas in front of you, but we know Tesla will do. That's the low hanging fruit. They will do it anyway. So
Yeah.
it's the road trips, the adventuring that you really want to get them to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Also, speaking of Tesla building in cities, I thought I'd just share this. I'll just share this list of the sites that they've opened in Australia this year, and just notice the rate in the last month compared to the rest of the year. Just come up again. There we go. So look at how fast they were doing them for most of the year until September.
Oh, wow.
And then how the rate changed. Yeah.
So we've got Brighton, Abbotsford, Wagga Wagga, St Kilda, Lucas, and unpronounceable
Calliope.
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 Yep.
And actually, is that running yet? Because
it is. These are all open. Yep.
Oh, so it did open.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it opened on the 30th. On the 30th, they just manage to squeeze in 6 into 1 month. 6 new openings into 1 month, which is unheard of for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so these are all open there. I thought they were just announced
these are
as...
these are the dates they opened. Yeah. So you can see there was 1 every month. There was 2 in May, but there was on average 1 every month, and then 6 in 1 month. So we just need 6 in every month for the rest of the year. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be just amazing, literally.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, Chuck. That's awesome. We just need more and more and more of them. Really, that's what we need. We need the Albany one to be done. We need the Kojonup one to be done, which will be co-located with the WAEV network chargers.
Is that official or is that sneaky?
No, that's well known. That's well known. And well, it certainly is now. And that's not from Tesla, by the way. That's not Tesla sourced information, but it's where they're going, right next door. So, same block of land.
I wonder if that's enough info for me to add it to Supercharge info. I don't know if I should.
You can take that to the bank, Chuck. Trust me.
Yep.
Yeah. You just got it from a horse's mouth.
I'll just say Harold said, so it's true.
That's right. Yes. Harold, and they'll go, who's and they'll rightly on the Eastern Seaboard goes, who's Harold? But no, that's true. So that's absolutely. Let's just say we that information is directly from a network provider, and it's not from Tesla. The same as Tesla's. We already know Tesla's co-locating in Albany, next at the old jail.
Yeah, so and they did in Lancelot as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
With their most disastrous supercharger stall format, which we hope they will never repeat ever again.
I'm glad they've at least tested it out, so they won't do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And incidentally, that the weirdness of Lancelin is it's one of the outliers where they haven't actually opened it up to other EVs, even though it is a CCS2 only location.
Yeah.
But that actually brings me to a great point, which I'll just check is still true. So I can get on my high horse. Oh, yes, it is true. Awesome. If I zoom in on Lancelin, you'll notice, and I believe this to be a political change, but PlugShare, if you click on this orange icon, which is Wangaree Park 2, that is the WAEV network location. So it rightly is a fully available CCS2 fast DC charger location. Now you go into this pin here, which will only be visible if you show restricted pins. So I'll try and actually demonstrate that. So if I hide restricted access, then suddenly the only fast DC charger location in Lancelin is the WAEV network. if I put it back onto show restricted, this is the supercharger site, and it says restricted, as do all of the supercharger sites that are not open to all EVs. Now, I got to say, Mr. or Mrs. or Mrs. Plugshare, what the hell are you thinking? And what are you trying to get at? Because if there was such a thing as a CHAdeMO only location, 95 or 6% of cars in Australia cannot use that location. So why would that be shown as a general DC charger and a Tesla supercharger not be, given that when you actually select plugs, and unfortunately this web page is going glacially slow. Sorry, I'll just you can actually select, they do specify, PlugShare specifies a Tesla fast DC charger, which is, they use the wrong plug type symbol, but it's I don't know how to describe it. They concede that Tesla has their own charging format, and that's okay, just like CHAdeMO is its own format. So at least in Australia, PlugShare has decided to show all of these pins as being restricted. So pro tip, if you're in a Tesla, just use your navigation screen to show chargers, and it'll show you where all the superchargers are. Or if you're using PlugShare for whatever reason, just make sure you select to show restricted pins. But this is something, by the way, we're trying to get PlugShare to stop doing. But that's only just happened over the last couple of days. So, Chuck, if you've got any influence over PlugShare, eat your heart out and whinge to them.
Exercise it.
Yeah. Well,
I just insult them and say, "Why do you do this stupid stuff, you fools?" And I'm I'm usually a bit ruder than that, but yeah.
Well, and I wouldn't blame you for being so, because you can actually see that there is a Tesla fast plug. That is a legitimate plug, which if I go to, how do you show incompatible?
I'll just go up a little bit at the top of the plugs. Plugs toggle all, is that right? Or reset plugs to match vehicle defaults?
There's the one where it shows incompatible.
Yeah, just above the plugs, it says reset plugs to match vehicle defaults.
Yeah, sorry, this web page is just locked up. Anyway, sorry. My computer's getting a bit fraught. It's probably upset at PlugShare. But anyway, we're trying to get PlugShare to stop it. But anyway. Any other news from the Wise region of the East that's ahead of time, Chuck? Before you got to go to bed because it's getting late for you.
Oh, yes, it's 12:01 now, so I can officially tell you. I can officially tell you the 5th of October is still happening. Yeah. Well, it hasn't ended on the 4th, so it's okay.
Sorry, yes. I was trying to find the significance of that, but no, very, very good. That's
no, just a random date.
So it's right. So we can go to sleep in a couple of hours, knowing that it'll all be okay.
That's right. Yep.
Very, very good. Very good.
Harold, I'm just going to quickly say goodbye. I'm down to 2%, and the locals are getting a bit restless here as well. So I might
Very
have
good,
to, be a short one today. I'm sorry.
No worries. Enjoy your holiday and enjoy the time with the rare time with your family. Take care, Pete.
Not here with the family this time. It's
okay.
Yeah, another.
Never mind.
Another
Whatever it is, it's all good. Just enjoy and have a good break. Take care, mate.
All right. Good on you.
See you, Pete.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Cheers. See ya.
Hi, Pete.
Oh, hello, Carmen. And thanks for joining us so late. Thanks for joining us so late, Chuck. Really appreciate it. Love your work.
That's no worries.
Can't wait to see you in person. It's only a few weeks now.
It's scary.
Well, sorry, Carmen. 2 seconds, Carmen. Yeah, it is scary, but it'll all be easy, Chuck. Don't you worry about that. You've got some skills and it's all good.
Just get a few more of those DC charges. That makes it a little bit easier on the way back, I think.
Oh,
We'll see.
Kimber, maybe Kimber. Because if you look on PlugShare, oh, and by the way, we were discussing last week about whether the Kempower charges are going to have a CCS and a Chanamo, and
Yeah.
it wasn't the Kimber location. It was on one of the other locations on PlugShare, which frustratingly, I'll see if I can bring it up. The photo very clearly shows that it's two CCS plugs. So I think that was not Kimber. It was one of the other sites that has a photo. Is it Streaky Bay? No.
Cal.
Yeah, which one's?
Yeah, I think Cal. I'll be going to on the way back. Near Whaler, near the vet.
Yes. Let me just get that one. Cal, that's right.
Yeah,
there
that
you
has
go.
pictures of the two
So-
plugs. Yeah.
So there's the two plugs. I can't unfortunately zoom in, but I have, and I've pixel peeped that, and they are definitely both
CCS.
CCS.
Yep.
So my feeling there is if that location is both CCS, then it makes sense that Kimber and Sejuna
Yep.
will probably also be CCS, joint CCS, which is great news.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, awesome. All right, well I'll let you
Yes.
go, Chuck. Like I said, thank you
That's
very much
cool.
for staying up so late, and
That's all right.
look forward to seeing you again.
Yep, no worries.
Excellent. Cheers. Thanks, mate. Take care. Hi, Carmen. You're not from here.
No, it's 3 p.m. I've just rushed in from 40-degree weather
Yay.
to see if I can catch you guys.
Very good. Well, you have. You've definitely caught us. It's only 9 o'clock over here. So 40 degrees.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's 27 officially, but it's very humid.
Gotcha. So it feels
Yeah.
like 40 degrees.
Feels like 40.
Very good. I don't think Tesla's share price has opened yet, but they've sort of gone nowhere in a hurry.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a shame.
unfortunately, they haven't gone up enough to make you enough profit to make it worthwhile going on a trip. But
No. Or buy euros.
yes,
Euros, good.
exactly.
Or US
Carmen,
dollars.
Carmen, where are you? Bulgaria?
I'm in Sardinia.
Nice.
In
Sardinia.
Oliver.
Right.
Oil,
see.
Oilva.
Has the FBI made you wear that outfit, or just in the witness protection program?
No. I've just
Oh.
come in from the shops and it's really, really hot.
Yeah, all right, okay.
No.
Looking very different, Carmen, I'll tell you.
Yes, holiday.
Holiday. There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Is Can
Olbia, that's
oh, so say that again, Carmen.
it's the capital of Sardinia, Olbia.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Pretty exciting.
So I did the cruise on the Côte d'Azur, so Monte Carlo, Nice, Positano, Milan was all very good.
Okay.
Apart from the dollars, and it's still full of people. I don't understand why. It's not peak time, but the summer continues, but strongly.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess the thing is a lot of these tourist areas during the peak season they're just literally completely flooded, and during off peak they're just really busy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is.
Unbelievable. I've never seen so many people, and everything gets booked out, and they can virtually ask anything and people pay it. I couldn't believe the prices. It was only a year that I was here, and everything, not in the same spots, but everything's gone up so much.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. Alrighty, has anyone got? Because we might we might try and keep these programs a little bit shorter. Last week we had an episode that was bigger than Ben Hur, literally. I think it was about 3.5 hours. But has anyone got any questions or anything that's happened in the last week? We obviously had the Como car show, which was great. Well, I can see Jared and Alex were both there, and that
Ben,
Did you come in?
Ken was there.
And Ken was there.
And his
So, tell us what it was like, Jared and or Alex.
It was really crappy actually without Paul there. I missed Paul because
We did miss Paul.
we did miss
I
Paul.
was sad.
Normally Paul comes along. The Mr. Whippy was downgraded. It wasn't as good as it normally is, which was
No,
very
the cones were a bit small, weren't they, Jared?
the Sundays were a bit undersized. Lots of questions. People come out asking questions about Tesla. A lot of people asking where's Richard Cooper's Falcon Wing doors? And people crying and upset that they couldn't see a Model X, and had to tell them that Richard Cooper doesn't really care about the Como Motor Show anymore, and he's moved on in life. People were very upset. But yeah, it was a good turnout with people. It was actually surprisingly,
despite what the weather was. But
the weather was very interesting. A few marquees nearly got blown away, didn't they, Alex?
Oh, okay.
Not including ours.
No, not including ours. Ours was strapped down.
Yes.
But there was seriously amount of marquees getting blown around, and I mean the weather was pretty interesting. There was a bit of a forecast of a bit of crappy coming from the north, and that was pretty average. But
still a
it was
good
a good turnout. There was a lot of people there. It was good. And we also had Ken from the Thai restaurant in Mandurah.
Yeah, Silk Tie.
Silk Tie.
He
What's
was
the name, Alex?
Silk Tie.
How many times? One more time, Alex, because they said if we said 3 times, we'll get a free meal.
Silk Tie.
Oh,
In
there you go,
Mandurah.
Silk Tie. Not that we'll be endorsed by corporate sponsorship. Silk Tie Restaurant. We like Silk Tie Restaurant.
Great Thai food.
He came with his Model Y Performance Red. He had the new red, which is the midlife crisis red. He had that one, which was nice. Yeah, it was.
Here's some photos.
No, that's actually.
That wasn't the show. That was like in the future.
That was a couple of years ago. That photo there, but
that's when they had sunshine. We didn't have.
Did anyone take any photos? I guess you've got no photos.
Yes, I took a couple of photos.
Yeah, right.
I did as well somewhere.
Yeah, we
Cool.
took a couple of photos. So it was good.
Oh, feel free to put them in the chat if you can.
There were lots of people just coming asking questions about the cars and that sort of stuff. So it was a really strong turnout, but a lot of more people that are like about to buy a Tesla would just come up and ask some questions about, we're about to buy, about to do it. It was quite interesting how the dynamics have turned around from people asking questions about the car to people asking questions how they're going to look after their car. So it was very different range of questions that we normally wouldn't hear from. So yeah, very positive. There weren't too many. Normally, you get a few people coming up and sort of, treating it like Russell Coight and sort of going on battery cars, and they come up with some sort of argument about it and want to argue about it, that sort of stuff. We didn't have any of those people. People were just saying, one guy came up to us and said, obviously this is the way to go, and his wife was sick of paying $140 in fuel, and his wife came up and she started talking about it, and he just said, oh, well, it's just a no-brainer now. This is the way I've got to go. It was very interesting in that regards, wasn't it, Alex?
It was, and it's a different dynamic, as Jared said. I mean, from people saying, "Oh yeah, don't buy a Tesla because it catches on fire." That's what the last one. That's what everybody used to say. But that's sort of like out the window. Totally different ball game now, and everyone's sort of jumping on the bandwagon of buying Teslas and buying an EV. So that's a really, really good step moving forward.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I even found the same thing. I was up in Exmouth, and there was a lady next door that flew up from Perth to see her brother, and same attitude. It wasn't. Oh, these are glorified golf carts, golf buggies. It's just awesome cars, look amazing. Can't wait to get one.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what the attitude was like. Like I did this car show last year, and there was still a lot of people saying, "Oh, these things catch on fire," and all these sort of problems and all this sort of stuff. And And this time I don't think I had one person that was negative at all. They were all just saying, "Oh, look, we're getting a car soon. What do we do?" and that sort of thing. So it was just really positive. I couldn't believe it. It was actually worthwhile. But the day was crappy, and it wasn't raining, but it was overcast, and the Sunday machine was a bit low. But just the positive nature of the people coming up to the stand was good. It was really nice.
And the other thing too, people who have got cars, they were basically asking questions on how, like, just little intricate things like, how do I pair my phone up to the car? How do I pair my key cards to the car and things like that? So, I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to help everyone. And
in fairness to Ken did spend a lot of time going to people's cars, and there was probably about 7 or 8 Teslas in the car park at that one time, and Ken was going there doing uploads and helping them with all kinds of little problems that they couldn't work out. So
actually, that was a good point, because someone had trouble with their car. So what was happening is, on the freeway, the car would only do 80 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Thereabout on autopilot, cruise control.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone else has found that with a recent update or anything like that, but I might just post it on there.
So how do you fix it? Was there a speed limit change? Was there the maximum speed limit setting?
Maximum speed limit was only set to 80 kilometers an hour. So Ken's basically went through it, and all the settings were correct and everything like that. So we basically just said, raise a ticket with Tesla. So I think that's what chat ended up doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It's very good having Ken there. I mean, just having that IT element, which it's always happy to have. It's just great to have that IT backup. And,
it'd be like good if it, like, for example, and just to make sure he's actually watching, it'd be good if Russell was here, because he could answer a few questions. But
is Russell? Is he still alive? Is Russell?
No. There's actually an effigy of him. He's been freeze dried, and every now and then, it rains, and then he might sort of reanimate for a very short period of time. Put up a comment on
Disney thing he's getting frozen.
No, that's right, and you got to watch out not to bump into a hammer when you're freeze dried. But every now and then he reanimates and puts a comment in on YouTube. So I expect a good comment, Russell, on this video. But
there you go.
Anyway, now I've got Mikey put in a thing about anyone that's interested in getting a Tesla. There's a ship due in on the 8th of October, and then he corrected it for the 9th. I think you need to add 10 days to that, Mikey, but it's all good. There is another ship coming.
You've got the captain of the ship on the phone right now. The captain is going to come out right now, and you've got that lined up somewhere.
No, I've got my PlayStation remote, so I just every now and then I just turn the ship, left or right. It's all good. Until the ship hits the fan, and then it's all a bit of a problem. But Shane, you're also joining us from Ararat, and wow, you are deep into the future. Deep from the future.
You're muted though, Shane.
No, he's up now.
No, I'm off now. It's after 12. Been on a 2-week break to Sydney and Melbourne with the family. And
that would have been arduous on the Supercharger network.
Yeah. No, we flew. But one of the things we did in Sydney was play Spotto with the girls. And any Teslas we saw, we go Spotto. And after about 2 hours, it got really boring because there's so many of them. Spotto, yeah, I know. Spotto, yeah, I know, Dad. So, but it's been a good holiday, and just one of the things I want to ask: the update to the Model Y, is this Chinese thing? Because I didn't start at the start of the show.
So what we can confirm, and this is official from Tesla, and if you go to a Tesla showroom, the salespeople will tell you the exact same thing. There are currently 0 plans to introduce those changes into Australia.
Right. it's
So that's
like
not
a
to say
software
that
update with them.
So that's not to say that there won't be a subsequent change of heart many months into the future or whatever. But absolutely, for the time being, there are zero plans. So what we don't have to worry about is that the ship after next is going to be arriving with these variants. Bearing in mind, I actually did have it, and feel free to have a look at the start of the program.
Yeah, I will. I'll check it out tomorrow.
Shane, and because I did do it fairly early on. When you go to the Chinese version of the website, the only real changes are you've got the highlight, that little linear sort of like coloured LED RGB lights, but only on the dash part, not on the side doors or anything like that.
Okay,
doesn't wrap around. They've painted the Gemini Aero wheel covers black, basically, instead of the grey and silver colour. So the Aero wheels look black.
Yeah.
The standard black interior cars have a wood grain trim for the dash, that wood grain sort of lining, whereas the black and white interiors have the white bar on the dash. Well, now in this Chinese version, it's some cloth material, some textile material.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was and also if you had a long range or dual motor Model Y, sorry, the standard range, so the rear wheel, the rear drive only. The 0 to 100 acceleration went from 6.6 seconds or so, or actually I think in China it was from 6.9 seconds down to 5.9 seconds. But again, Tesla has officially stated that there are currently no plans to introduce these variations into Australia.
Right. Yet.
Well, not just yet. There just aren't any. Well, yeah, I guess everything's got to be said with a yet, but I don't think they're fobbing off. I think they've just. My guess is there are probably multiple Model Y lines that are at Shanghai, and I presume they're possibly using one of those lines just for Chinese domestic consumption, and then one or two other lines for international shipping.
Yeah.
So, for the time being,
Fair enough.
and it is a bit of a Frankenstein car where you've got the highlight light on the dash and not on the sides. So it's a bit of a weird sort of thing. Don't know why they're doing that, to be honest, but that's what
Marketing,
they're doing,
I guess.
Yeah, and maybe a bit of utilisation of common parts. So it's probably it'd be the same dash as on the Model 3 Highland.
Yeah.
But I'd say the door trim bits might be slightly different, although I'm not certain. But possibly because I think the Model Y is slightly wider. So I imagine if the dash is the same width, you've probably got to bolster the extra width on the Y. So it sort of there's not a big gap between the doors closed and the actual dash.
Yeah.
But the good news is you don't have to worry about if you just had an order and you were going to receive it in the next few weeks that, next month or two it'd be dated. Oh, and there's definitely no rear screen for the backseat passengers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which again, that's just an accessory. I mean, that's just a plug-in device effectively. So, but they've definitely decided not to fit that in the Chinese version cars. So
now, if just one thing, if you were to do that and the car's still under warranty, is that an issue? If I don't know, something goes wrong, you could go. Tesla could turn around and go, "Oh, we can't do that because that screen, that aftermarket product, caused the problem." I don't know.
Well, yeah. So under Australian consumer law, a manufacturer can't blame an unrelated accessory for a problem that is potentially under warranty or for a problem that occurs on a component that wasn't fit for purpose for what you'd expect. So I mean, in Norway there's a classic joke that whenever there's a warranty issue, Tesla will say, "Oh, that warranty is void because you used the wrong brand of tires." Because in Norway they have winter tires and whatever. So no, Tesla can't. if you have an accessory and it's proven that it's got nothing to do with some other fault,
Yeah.
then they can't blame it. The only caveat I'd put on that is if it interacts with the CAN bus, which something like those aftermarket rear screens do by necessity, because I have to listen in on the CAN. I don't know, something weird happens on your CAN bus that causes a problem, and Tesla investigates and they find that maybe your device did do something weird with the CAN bus, well then they could blame that. But I mean, rightly blame it if that was the cause of the problem.
Yeah, okay.
But
cool. So it's a bit of a balancing act, I guess, and just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you get puddle lights from wherever, Tesla puddle lights, the ones that basically light up when you open the door.
Yeah.
They can't then blame drive unit failure for your puddle lights, if you know what I mean.
Cool. All right. Awesome.
So
Thanks,
so definitely, go and get a screen and fit it to your car, if that's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
I have seen a couple of videos. There were some warning. I think Bjorn did one with Bill Complementer, whatever, and it had the wrong terms for air conditioning and stuff, and some things it said it would do, but it didn't. Like it said it had adjustable vents, but it doesn't, because the aircon just comes straight out. You can't change the direction.
I've looked at that. Yeah.
Yeah. But apart from that, it's a good accessory if you've got kiddies that want to look at stuff in the back.
Yeah, indeed. All right, guys.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
All right. It's great to see you, Shane. Take care, mate. And look forward to seeing you again.
No worries. Bye, guys.
Cheers. See ya. Alrighty. Has anyone got any questions or comments before we might start winding down this show?
There's a couple online.
Oh, okay. Without me being boring by reading it out, can someone please just let's have a look. Debating putting a head-up display on the Y. Yeah, cool. I think Richard Cooper is he. I think Richard might have gone. I know Richard's sort of lurking in the background. He has had. I've seen one on his Model 3 that he put that basically shows like a wasn't head-up display, but it basically mounted on the steering column, and I think it showed speed, what I wouldn't say what gear you're in, but the equivalent of what gear you're in, and a few other things as well. I think it was battery percentage and range, and odometer, I think. So yeah, there are quite a few accessories you can get that interact with the CAN bus quite nicely. Was there any other question in the chat?
There was one here from Matt C. Do you think Elon will offer EAP as a trial in January again? Would love to try it for a month.
Oh, you mean if you've already had the trial, if you'll repeat that? Oh, yes, like he did in January. Look, it would probably be a good idea. It probably wouldn't be a silly thing for Tesla to do, because there's always a finite percentage of people that will roll over and actually buy it because they've tried it. And maybe if you offer it to them twice, the second time round, they might sort of finally cave in. But I guess the correct answer is we don't know, but it's possible. Sometimes things are done. Tesla does do things at Christmas time or the holidays as they describe it, and January would be a great time for that. So it's possible, but I wouldn't count on it per se.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because I didn't have the car this January, so just trying to think, like it'd really be nice to trial it for a month rather than the 2 days if you purchase it.
Yeah, so sorry, is that for enhanced autopilot?
Yeah, that was, I think, what they offered in January for the month of January this year. I think everyone got the enhanced autopilot, with the summons and lane change and stuff like that. So yeah, look, it'd be great if they did offer that, because I'm on the fence whether to get it or not.
Yeah, I mean, what you could we could do is go to the showroom in Osborne Park and just ask if any of the demo cars have got enhanced autopilot for you to have a quick suss of, perhaps I know you only get half an hour, but at least you could sort of have a partial try before you buy. I mean, like you say, you can always get a refund after 48 hours, but I think there's a limit. Like, you can only do that once, and they'll be reticent to sell it to you again because they don't want to keep reversing transactions. But, you could just ask if there's a demo car that has enhanced autopilot. If you're thinking about wavering, about actually buying it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Alrighty. Has anyone got any final questions or comments before we wind up? No. So alrighty. Actually, sorry. Let me just check something. There are a couple of little tiny bits of interesting things on my favourite subject, which is the Cybertruck, of course, because it couldn't be anything else. And that was from Joe Tetmeyer, actually showing one of the first images of a crash-tested Cybertruck. So that's always pretty cool and interesting to see. So you can see it's actually been a frontal crash there, and it's a.
Is it windscreen gone? Is it?
Yeah, I think. It sort of looks like it, Peter, but it's, and you see you've got a little bit of it's drooped a bit, so probably it has. I think that probably is broken glass, laminated glass. Yeah.
That'd be expected, you'd think, with that sort of impact, but I thought it was an armour glass anyway in the front. But
it is, but you can see that the short, because bearing in mind that the actual bonnet is quite short and it's bent up, and it's probably nicked that corner, which would have shattered the glass in any case.
Yes.
So, so that was that one, and the other one I've got is.
All right, so I'm headed on a.
This is actually a video taken by the bearded Tesla guy, and he actually had some. He actually had to drive. I think he described it as 80 miles to a place where the Cybertruck was on the back of a truck, and he was basically going through quite closely some of the features of it, and we'll just.
There's the speaker for the pedestrian warning system, and this one does have the camera. This little, that's cool. It's got a active dampener right there for the cooler.
All our cars have, by the way.
Let's see here.
Ooh. That's the air suspension. And it's an all-wheel drive version.
Disconnect for the 48 volt. Brake lines. There's part of the casting. That's pretty cool. This thing, I bet you they've been all over the track on this particular car, because that is just torn up by rocks. And sounds about the same, looks almost the same thickness, hard to really tell. Let's see if I can zoom in here. We can see the thickness of the steel. Really, really, really hard to tell.
The panel gap, the alignment's a little bit suboptimal, but hey, it's a truck.
See, look how thick that door is. It's pretty thick. This one's had some heat applied to it. Interesting.
And anyway, it goes on and on. So definitely look up the bearded Tesla guy, his latest video of the Cybertruck, which is something I never get bored of watching. Let me just set up in 2 seconds. Now, obviously, Pete's not here, so we'll have to do an outro without the benefit of Pete. And what he would normally say is, as usual, stay safe, stay sustainable, and stay
rent my
ahead of
cars.
the curve.
Just change it to rent my cars. There's a new
And rent my
coming.
cars, that's right.
Rent my cars.
And in response to that, I'd say, well, yes, you can rent some cars, but the best way to do that is to buy a Tesla or rent one of Pete's, join Tokwa, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy.
Hallelujah.
Have a wonderful week, everyone, and we'll really look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of Ask Us Anything. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye bye.